thriving through peaceful prosperity. I'm going to break it down and go, what's thriving through? What does that mean? Mm-hmm. And then we can talk about the rest of it. So Moira, what does thriving through mean? What does it feel like to be thriving through?
It feels balance and ease and feeling aligned with your own head, heart, and higher self energy. Thriving to me feels like you recognize the things that are yours to process and take on as a challenge, and then the things that you're to surrender and trust the universe, the power of the universe. Yeah. So thriving to me it's a real recognition of the co-creation of everything that we experience.
Debz is a stressologist. She will stretch your mindset to think bigger than you've ever thought before, with follow-through techniques that are realistic and achievable to blow any fear out of your mind. Moira is a mindset cultivator. She will help you align your personal trinity of self-trust, inner awareness, and self-confidence so that you discover and share your unique gifts and purpose. Together, their goal with these conversations is to share how our inclinations do not always work in our best interest, and to provide the knowledge to leverage the gifts that already exist within each one of us. Their desire is to help you learn how to access the habits and behaviors that will lead to positive change and your best quality of life. Welcome to your deliciously motivated mindset.
Boom, as we kick it off today.
Boom.
Boom. Definitely not relating to the title at all.
Ooh.
Thank you for joining us, everybody, to our deliciously motivated mindset conversation with Debz. That would be me, the quiet one, and Moira, the really outspoken loud one.
That would be me, the really loud one who has no accent.
That's the one. That's her, and that's me. So thank you for joining us today as we embark on a new conversation, which is called Thriving Through Peaceful Prosperity.
Oh, you did it without a lisp.
Without spitting it everywhere, which was actually as I was practicing my peaceful prosperity beforehand. So thank you for joining us. If you've joined us before, you know a little check-in we do before. If you haven't, you better be prepared. So what we do is we rate ourselves and we gauge a number from 0 to 10 and see where we are emotionally and physically and mentally and spiritually and
all of that.
Yeah, all of the above. Just to check in to see where you're at. So a 0 to 10. 10 is chaotic, frazzled,
stuck.
Lick your fingers, put them in the
socket,
in how you feel. Yeah. Sitting in the corner rocking, going, I don't even know if I'm rocking anymore because I don't know if the walls are there. Like you're in a pickle. You're in an absolute pickle. And if you're probably in that state, you're probably going, well, I'm even listening to you. She's starting
I'm just not going to listen to you guys.
Yeah. So if you're a 10, just
reach out to us.
Yeah. I'm like, just stop. Just keep rocking. Rock faster. And hopefully you'll get out of the spot you're in.
Yeah.
No, that's not true. That is not one of my tips. Well, it might work. Anyway, and then a 0, which is the other end, is just completely neutral,
just zen, bliss, calm, peaceful.
Just feel like, balance, poise, present, and here we are. No worry about before, no worry about what's happening. You're just sitting present, and that's where you are.
Yep.
So our aim is to be a 0. Now, do not think you can sit at a 0 all day long, because if you did, you're being unrealistic. So
that'd be a bit boring anyway.
And imagine doing that. If you had to sit cross-legged in your 0 state all the time, your knees would be poked. So we check in and we find out what number we're sitting at now, and then halfway we do another one, and then at the end we do another one. So take a note of what you're at would be amazing. So Moira, where are you on a 0 to 10?
I did one of those, is it this or this or this? So I'm 2.5. I'm a 2.5.
I'm a 2.5.
Oh.
Because I was looking at Moira and she's blanking herself out, and I'm going, I wonder what she's thinking, because usually Deborah has the internal talk. It goes, where am I? Where am I? Where am I? Am I that? Are you sure you're that? And maybe that. Maybe that. Like, just say a freaking number. Don't get so wound up.
Pull out. Yeah. That's hilarious. So here we are at the same.
2.5. Yeah, because I'm like, I'm probably a 3. Oh, no, I'm not a 3. 2. I don't know. Anyway, we are both 2.5s. So let us know what number you're at. Yeah. And that's a great one to start by having a pen and paper. So I pointed the pen to Moira because like she needs a pen and paper. Yeah.
And she's got it.
I use those pens. They're nice pens. Yeah. So we're going to write our number down, and then we're going to give you some tips on that are valuable to you, clearly, on thriving through peaceful prosperity.
That's the intention. That is the intention.
That's the intention. So grab your pen and paper and start writing these down because they are valuable to you. Anyway, so thriving through peaceful prosperity. Well, I'm going to break it down and go, what's thriving through? What does that mean? Mm-hmm. And then we can talk about the rest of it. So, Moira, what does thriving through mean? What does it feel like to be thriving through?
It feels balance and ease and feeling aligned with your own head, heart, and higher self energy. Thriving to me feels like you recognize the things that are yours to process and take on as a challenge, and then the things that you're to surrender and trust the universe, the power of the universe. Yeah. So thriving to me it's a real recognition of the co-creation of everything that we experience. And so therefore it's not all about, I have to hustle and push and thrust forward, and right, that's not really thriving. That's kind of getting into the surviving mode.
It's the full thing.
Yeah. That's kind of what I feel like, thriving through. And then also, it also feels like no matter what you witness or see in the world around you, that it's an acceptance of, I'm in the right place at the right time with all the resources I need at all times. And it's that landing at that realization. That feels like a big, yeah. So
it's flowing, and it's absolute trust. Mm-hmm. You've got this. Absolute trust. I've got this. I know it's happening. Yeah.
And so that can actually be something to hold on to, because sometimes we can be in situations where we don't have all the logical steps or can see our way through. But if we can just say, I've got this, because I wouldn't be here if I didn't have this, right?
Yeah, I love that. And it is. And so just even breaking down that heading, thriving through, when you think about that thriving through, my aim was to have people feel it. Mm-hmm. Go, I can feel that. I know. And that's a great one to know when you're in alignment and when you're not, definitely, because your body will go, this is too hard, or this is forced, or desperate, or whatever, and you can go, hang on, this is not thriving through here.
Right, exactly. And wait, maybe that means I need to just put my hand on my heart and take a wee break to allow yourself to get back into that sense of flow, right?
Yep, totally. Well, I love cough. I love that thriving through. And so peaceful prosperity. So we all know, if you've listened to us before, that I struggle with the word peace. If you haven't noticed that, then
noticed that.
Peace. Yeah. Whatever.
Peace, man.
What are you gonna do? Yeah. So well, let's change peaceful prosperity to warful prosperity. Yeah. So peaceful prosperity. So if we were to say peaceful prosperity, what does that mean for you?
It kind of follows along from what we were just talking about the thriving through, because there's it's not like feeling like you have to keep hustling and keep working and putting more money in the bank. It's actually realizing that sense of, calmness and connection with your heart's desire and connection with your true soul's calling. It's there. And then looking at and appreciating everything that you've created, that you've got on your radar, that you want to create, that your dreams and in alignment with it. So this peaceful prosperity is always, we can always aspire to the next best version of ourselves, but also to know that I am in the best version of myself right now. And so never to get into, thank you. And never to get into a place of, I'm going to feel prosperous or more successful or abundant when I get there, because I'm here and I feel peaceful and prosperous and I know I'm thriving.
And that's that 0 to 10 that we did at the start too. When you're at that 0 or a 1 or a 2, you know, or a 3, you know, you are at that peaceful prosperity because your wobbles.
Yep.
Emotional wobbles are small. They're, you know, minuscule.
Yeah.
As such. So what tips would you give? What tips would you share about thriving through peaceful prosperity? What tips would you give?
I think one of the biggest things is to create an approach for yourself where you really get into balance with the being and the doing. We all need to be and do, but we need to be in the being first. And so that can mean taking half an hour to sit and write in your journal, or to look at your intentions, or repeat some affirmations, or just sit and breathe, so that you can access your inner wisdom and then engage in the doing part. I think that the you know, being is that you are the human being that's creating this. So then it's ever like waiting for the sign or the signal or the motivation to, oh, I know what I'm supposed to do now, and get up and do it. So there's an art to this, but it's always coming from a place of gratitude and appreciation and acknowledgement that I have the tools and the resources already within me. Right?
Yeah.
How do you see it?
I love that the being was first and the doing, and I think you know, going to somebody who's starting a new job, starting a new business idea, you know, the being is really important, but we often forget about that.
Right.
We often
and just run into the doing first. Absolutely.
Yeah, and then you get burnt out, and then you didn't, you know. But I always say to people, well, I don't always say to people, but my reference when I think about people starting and the being and doing is a recipe. You're going to cook.
Yeah.
So step 1, you've got to look at the recipe. Step 2, you've got to make sure you've got all the ingredients and they're on the bench. Yep. And then step 3 to me is the doing.
Yeah.
So it is that preparation, and you know, the being is the first priority. And I love the way you describe that, because that is definitely it.
Yeah.
I would also say one of the things of thriving through peaceful prosperity is what's important is your surroundings.
Yes.
And I know you sort of touched a little bit on that, but there's two branches from that surroundings, and that's people and I'm going to say things. But I know, so if I just go to, you know, me, I moved house, I moved office, and I've still got some boxes in my office. I only just got my office furniture last week. We're nearly 2 months. Yeah, we're over 2 months now, and we had delays. But it was really challenging to be around so many boxes. I had to focus on what I had in front of me right here, right now, and not, you know, so if your environment doesn't light you up, the environment doesn't light you up, you've got to do something about it.
You do.
Now, I'm not saying go out, hire an office, whatever, some people just can't do all those things. That's okay. Just find what lights you up. It could be a candle. It could be a smell. It could be a music. It could be something, you know, that just gives you that little, and I call it a glitter bomb, whatever that is. The surroundings are important with the things, but also the people.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have the right people around, it's going to be, well, it'll be a detriment to your world, which we all know. We've got friends who have come into our world and they've done things and we've gone, should have known right from the start. I saw that right from the start. They were talking about this and they were talking about their last employer and how they milked all the money out. No, of course they're doing the same thing again,
Mm-hmm.
So your surroundings are really, really important for any thriving in life.
I completely agree. And I like what you just said about the your environment, because like you, I moved within the last year too, and so I totally relate about the living with boxes and chaos, and the movers didn't put the things in the right rooms and running around to try and sort things through. But a tip that I would give, just to add on to that thing about the surroundings, is sometimes it can feel really overwhelming, in particular when you've moved your entire house and office. And so my thing would be to just focus on, even if it's just a little corner where you can I have lots of things like motivational art and like angels and crystals and my card decks, and so it was priority for me to get them in a space that I could just, this is just a corner of my room. And that helps me feel into the flow and actually helps me do that dance between the being and doing, because I'm the being that's getting to set up a new space around me that mirrors me. And I think that's a really important piece too. And it doesn't matter how long it takes you. It's important to just keep acknowledging the pieces of order that you're putting in, the pieces that you love. Because I know for myself, even now, I walk into my office and look around it and go, I just love this space. Yeah. Right.
And well, that's it. And I'm putting up with this space.
Yes. Yes.
But there is always a mean to an end. But if it doesn't light you up, you must do something to make it light up. You might go into a sterile environment. I say sterile. I was thinking of the council. Nothing wrong when I worked at the council, but you might be going into that sterile environment that they only have certain things. You can't have color this, and you can't have, and you want color, and you are going to struggle with that. So find what it is. Use that pen, biro, use whatever it is, if that's what it takes to make you feel fulfilled, happy, inspired, alive.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I always have pieces around me, like beautiful crystals. I'm holding up my heart shape.
Oh wow,
isn't that gorgeous?
She holds up her thing, and mine I've got two love hearts, which are my post-it notes. My pink and my red one, she holds up a beautiful thick crystal, and I go, oh, stationery, post-it notes.
There you go. Yeah. But so to me, it's things like that. And then the other thing that I always have close by too is I have a purple squeezy ball. So if I'm ever needing to just, ground myself, soothe myself.
At the cat at the door.
Yes. Well, the cat sometimes knocks that off to go and play with that. but it's about really. What's that?
They are the things that.
Yeah. And it's to know this is about having a deep awareness of you and what is it you need to feel like you're thriving, like you're aligned with you, and also having these items like we're talking about, heart-shaped post-it notes or heart-shaped crystals or squeezy balls, tension balls, post-it notes with messages of affirmations and mantras of loving acceptance, whatever it is, to help you soothe yourself if you ever get out of balance between the being and doing. Right? Yeah,
I love it, and they are important. That and I love the way you just referenced back to that being and doing, and because it just reminds you there are steps to everything.
Yeah. But everything starts with an inside. It's inside first, right? How it's talked about, like, creation process. Every item that's ever created starts with a thought. that's the internal aspect of it. And then it gets, a thought gravitates other thoughts and other ideas and maybe even other resources to actually start into the full creation.
Well, when you know, when you're in flow and you know you're in flow, it flows.
Yeah.
And you're not like checking the clock all the time, and you're not, stop, start. It just flows.
Yeah. It just flows, and you feel such a sense of accomplishment and such a sense of yes within you, right?
Yeah.
I think that's when you know that you're in this flow of thriving through peaceful prosperity.
Well, it's that old saying they say, when you know, and someone got married and they're like, yeah, but we knew. It's like, okay, you don't have to keep quoting that. When we know, we know. We knew. Okay, we know.
Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you. When you know, you know. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. What's another tip that we've got for thriving through peace? I was actually just trying to think myself then of one.
And I think, this, that I actually really love to follow the phases of the moon, because at each phase of the moon, it's kind of inspiring us to, sometimes like a dark moon, which is the new moon, that's time to really, really be introspective and check in with you. But throughout I follow 8 phases of the moon to sort of do check-ins. And the reason I'm saying that is, at the time that we're recording this, we're about to head into a last quarter phase of the moon. And at that point, it's about the energy that it encourages us is to check in to see, are we heading the way that it's right for us? Are we in alignment? Because there can be times where we go, oh, no, it's not that way. I'm going to do a course correct. Or one of your favorite words is to do a pivot. But that's the thing I think is super important with all of this, with this idea of thriving through peaceful prosperity, is to never feel like, because you've said, I'm going to go and achieve that intention, or I'm going to set up this business, or I'm going to create that kind of business, or have this amount of people in my class, or whatever it is, or I'm going to get this job over here, I'm going to attract this kind of relationship. But at any point, we have the right to say, I thought that's what it was going to be to light me up, to give me this sense of peaceful prosperity. But now I'm getting this feedback from my own inner awareness. As things show up, I kind of go, no, I need a bit of a refinement process. I need to change trajectories. And I think it's so important for us all to have a couple of things, is to give yourself permission to say no. It's always okay to say no. And it's always okay to change your mind.
A quick wee message before we get back to this episode. You can get access to a special gift Moira and Debz have put together for you. Go to deliciouslymotivatedmindset.com/gift. When you sign up, you'll receive instant access to an inner peace kit and the 30 Days of Wisdom program, both of which is intended to help you feel deliciously motivated right away. Go to deliciouslymotivatedmindset.com/gift.
The saying no is so heavy for people. Saying no is so heavy. People just, I can't upset that person. You're doing them a favor by saying no, because I think that's a big one. Yeah, we can change direction, and this is your freaking life. If you want to turn left, then turn left. If you want to change your surroundings, change your surroundings.
Absolutely. Don't you think that thing about, I can't because it's going to upset people, or I actually had a conversation about this earlier today, that when we do that, we're actually being a disservice to that other, that we're saying, well, I gave my word and so I have to. Well, no, if you're having to, or you should,
You should.
Then you're not actually being of highest and best and aligned service. You're not being a unconditionally loving conduit of loving light, right?
I think that comes into another tip that I was thinking was back yourself. And I think that sort of comes under that part as well, similar, because you back yourself that you're doing the right thing you can. You know, I know starting my business, I would have done things differently. I wouldn't have listened to all the people I listened to, and I would have listened to, you know, and not tried to put my finger in every pie. I don't know if they still say that now. That's probably a rude thing. But not actually. That. Oh, do you do? Okay.
Yeah.
Just checking. But actually, instead of just doing 20,000 things, etc., actually just to back myself and go, okay, well, actually, you're on the right path. You believe in your product or your service or whatever.
Yeah.
Keep going. You know, you may be getting feedback that this is not right. Listen to the feedback, decide what you want to do with it, and carry on. And I think that's the thing we don't do enough of. And, you know, I know when I was a single mum and I was younger, and people would say, you got to do this. Oh, okay. Like, I knew no different because, well, Google was around, but it wasn't, you know, 22 years ago. That sounds really bad. Google was around, but I wasn't one to
like the Google God that it is now.
Yeah, exactly. Totally. But that makes you sound so old, feel so old. But we didn't Google everything. We're just like, oh, someone said that. You're like, oh, for me. Oh, okay. Yeah, I do it.
There's somebody telling me how to do it. Absolutely.
Someone who's had children, or someone who's, you know, and you trust other people, but also just to there is that level of trust, but also just trust yourself, back yourself that I've got this, I have this. And that's that beautiful hand on heart, just to breathe. I have this.
Yep.
I've got this, you know.
I've got this. Absolutely. And I love that you brought this up, because backing yourself, or even just patting yourself on the back or on the shoulder, like appreciate, acknowledge, because that's actually really an important part, is that just because there are so many different pieces of advice or ideas, oh, just do it this way, or oh, you should just do this way. Number one, understand that everybody can have an opinion. Right?
Everyone has an opinion.
Everyone does have an opinion, right?
You might not know their opinion yet.
And then, of course, their opinion is actually none of your business either. Yeah. Because your business is to take in what they say. Oh, all you just do is do this. But then you can say thanks, and then internalize it and see, does it align with your own sense of thriving through peaceful prosperity? Because it may not. But if you go running down the road and say, oh, well, that person's the authority because this is the path that they've taken, maybe your quirkiness or difference, I'm a pretty quirky person, so if I followed somebody else's path, it'd be kind of like, this just doesn't work for me.
I struggle with the straitjackets.
The straitjackets are just never going to let you find your own rhythm and your own inner authority. Right.
Well, we talk about the black sheep in the family, and I'm sure if I looked at Moira's family and my family, I could clearly say we're both the black sheep.
Oh yes, hands down. I totally agree with that.
We're definitely that. And I have seen, since the pandemic hit, I did see a lot more black sheep rising. Black sheep, we're allowed to call them black.
I love that. It is time for black sheep rising.
And the black sheep rised around the world.
I love it.
But there is that. And there was, and what I loved about that pandemic, about the black sheep rising, is they backed themselves.
Yes.
Now, some, and I'm going to say some went crazy with backing themselves and took upon themselves to become the leader of the world and just comment on everything and everyone. Yep, there's those ones. But what I loved seeing was how much people were actually having certainty in who they are.
Yes. Yeah, that was a wonderful gift, and you're right.
Yeah, and it was a great time to really reassess who, to me, it was a time to reassess what's important to me right here, right now, and just internally process all that while everything was going on around me, and be able to shut down that, I'm going to say, that chaotic noise. I mean, the media was incredibly chaotic noise. If it wasn't the media, you know, if you did get to go out of your house, you know, the shop assistants or somebody, you know, there was lots of conversation. So it was pretty intense. So one of the beautiful things is, not only did we back ourselves in our decision, but I learned to just switch off from those outside sources, if I could say it that way, and really just internally back to me. And I think that's that to me is definitely a thriving through peaceful prosperity, is actually just protecting myself from all those Pac-Man
other energies. Yeah, I completely agree. And I think that what it did was it changed our pace of life, our way of life, our pace of life, and it created so much.
See, that's peaceful prosperity through
it
right there.
Really is. Yes.
That is exactly it.
Yeah. So I saw and knew of so many examples of, now we completely work from home, and the kids for a long time were being schooled, like they were going to school at home too, but mom and dad and the kids were sitting down to have lunch together.
Yeah, there was just a different dynamic that was going on. I know of a driver who was all hours of the night, and when it came back to going back to work, he said, I don't want to. What do you mean? And he was, you know, functioning on 4 or 5 hours sleep a night. So for him, it was like, no,
you know, go back to that.
I don't want to go back to that life. And it is, because it definitely gave us a different change of pace. I mean, going from slippers to stilettos again.
Oh dear. Yeah.
First world problems. But I mean, it definitely it got you to slow down. And I think that's definitely another tip for this peaceful prosperity, is actually look at your pace. Yeah. And, you know, we talked about if you're forcing it, desperate, you know, if you're desperate, you're not going to get anywhere. But this is a great one just to feel fulfilled inside. Yeah. You know.
And then looking at your pace, giving yourself permission to readjust if necessary. Right?
Yeah. That comes up all the time. Just, you know, when you just said, and readjust. And it is that, you know, pivot, change directions, say no, you know, it is that whole thing again. If it's not working for you, change.
Yes.
But it's the if it's not broken, like don't try and fix it. I'm still a firm believer on that in certain things. You can tweak a few things if you need to.
You can watch your inner dialogue though too. So I think that's a super important piece, is because on the outside it could appear that something is going the way you want it to. Excuse me. But internally there could be resistance and saying, it doesn't resonate anymore.
Yeah.
Right. And it's about telling yourself the truth when that starts to set root for you.
Chew away. Yeah. And that is that, you know, again, going back to one of the other tips was back yourself. That's again another one, just to back yourself, you know, to remind yourself of that.
Remind yourself you've got this, and acknowledge you're in the right place at the right time. Yeah, baby. Yeah, I love that. What's another tip? We're running out of time a little bit. We're definitely going to see if we can get in. We'll definitely get one more and might get two in. Well, we talked about the hand over the heart. I still think that it's super important to set your tone for your day. So this peaceful prosperity, maybe you could start your day by looking at what's your schedule like, and make sure that there's check-in points there throughout your day. Yeah. Right. Well, there's nothing more satisfying than crossing something off the list. And for me, it's not just crossing it off the list. It's actually completely wiping it out, hiding it. It's actually putting a line through it, because there's so much satisfaction seeing that you've got 10 things on your list and 8 have a line through them. And you're like, yeah, even though the last 2 are absolute shitty a-hole ones that you're going to take you 4 days to do. But hey, you got 8 things off your list, and that's the other cool thing. But I was
brought up to, although I don't do it as much now actually, is the night before, or before you finish, is write down those things you're going to do before the next day.
Right.
So you've planned your day, you've prioritized your day. Also knowing that stuff comes in and things can change. We're fully aware of that, but at least you can just leave the office, I'm going to say office, knowing, oh, okay, so tomorrow I've just got 3 clients.
Yeah.
And in between that, I've got this, and this. Wow, this is actually achievable. So you're not going to bed chaotic. You're not leaving the office chaotic. You're not going to bed chaotic. You're not waking up chaotic. You're not getting into the office and going, ugh, everything is heavy, because that's not thriving through peaceful prosperity. So I guess it's unpacking your brain dumping.
Brain dumping is so important.
And that's and that's everything, not just your task you're going to do.
Absolutely. And to your point, I'm like that. It's funny that you said that about used to do it, that it was the night before you'd write down your list, and it's like, I don't do that so much anymore. Yeah. But I do always have lists. And I love seeing the tick marks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? It's like, look, even if I think, oh my gosh, a day's gone by and I don't feel like I've got that much done, and then I go and look at all the tick marks, oh look, I've got 7 things done.
I know, it's actually, and I've said to people, they go, I didn't do anything today, and I'm like, what did you do? And they're like, oh, I got up and had a shower, and when I was in the shower I decided to clean the shower, so I had to get out, get the cleaning products, come back in and clean the shower. Then I got out and I was cleaning my teeth and realized that needed cleaning, and then I cleaned that, and then I did this, and then and I'm like, okay, so you've done nothing? They're like, no, I've done nothing today. I'm like, you cleaned a shower. When you're in the shower, you see that, there's a lot on that. Then you come out and you have to clean that. And so your whole head is not, you're not in flow. Got to do this, got to do this, got to do this. If you don't prioritize your day, and this is what John DeMartini says, if you don't prioritize your day, I don't know how he says it, shite comes in. He doesn't say it like that. Shite comes in and distracts your day, and it's so true, because if you're not doing anything or you don't have any priorities, the world gives you a priority to do.
Absolutely. That's the thing that I like to say, and I'm sure you've heard me say this before, is I'm the boss of me. Yeah. So if I'm the boss of me, then I'm going to set up my energy in the right way, because I'm not going to allow these other incoming things to be taking over and be the boss of me.
Yeah, that's it. Things and people.
Yes, absolutely. But we're coming to the end, and so we like to do a little recap of the tips that we've shared.
Let's see how we go.
So we're gonna do a wee round robin, going back and forth, of the ones that we picked up, and hopefully we capture all the tips that we've shared.
And if we didn't, you must have done them themselves, because they got told to bring pen and paper.
That's right. So you already noted them down. You'll be able to see any ones that we missed. But the very first tip that I wrote down is to use a mantra to always come back to, I've got this. So regardless of what's going on, what you have to do, what you have done or haven't done, or whatever kind of situation you're in, always remember, I've got this. That is
That's my tip 5.
Oh, is it?
So I must have talked about that again later. I'm like, hang on, I've got that.
I think we did. We brought that up twice. Yeah. We talked about this one initially, about the thriving through is actually, we thrive through by always knowing we're in the right place.
Oh, not forcing it. Yeah, so I've got forcing it, flowing, and trusting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. Which actually is a nice segue from that to the next tip I wrote down, was about balance between being and doing.
Yeah, I've got the being and doing. Yeah.
Yeah, I always starting it with the being. Yeah.
I love the being and doing, because it's so clear. It's the being before the doing.
Yeah.
You've got to get your recipe ready before you start cooking.
I loved your analogy that you brought in with that, because it's so true. But it's also, this, what I just said about that I'm the boss of me, I can only access that if I sit and be first. Right? Because it's the being that then says, what's mine to do and what's mine to outsource or to gift to somebody else, or right?
Yeah, I love that. Oh, it's going to be an inspiring day in my office today. I can feel it. Woo! as Moira rounds down her night. So the next one I had was surroundings. And I had people and your environment. And when I think about that, I loved, Moira said a sentence, what do you need to feel to thrive?
Yeah.
And I love that because we, you know, feelings, sometimes we shut our feelings down. I don't want to feel this. I don't want to feel this, or it's triggering a past memory or something like that. So I love that. What do you need to feel to thrive? Because you already know the answer to that. We all know the answer. Okay, so for me, I love the smell of beautiful candles. But if I have my door shut, I can't put a candle in here and the door shut because it just, I choke on my own candle. Right. So my door has to be open to have that flow of my candle. And they're the little things that need to make me thrive. You know, we talked about Moira's crystal.
My beautiful crystal. Yeah.
Yeah. And when she sees that, that will light you up. You'll just see it and go, oh, nice. And when you touch it or feel it, you know, that's your thing. And I'm the same. She had a heart crystal. I had my heart post-it notes. I know when I write a post-it note with my heart, it has different energy to my straight square one.
Square ones. Yeah.
It's different. They don't, the square ones don't get used often. So I love the surroundings being that, but also the people. Yeah. Look at the people, you know, not everyone is your cheerleader.
Totally agree with that. The next tip I wrote down was to be okay and acknowledge that you have the right to say no and you have the right to change your mind. So never get caught up in oh, I said this, so I have to, or oh, I decided that, so I have to. It's like, no, even if you made a choice, you have to understand that we're all energetic beings. And so energy keeps changing and shifting. And so if it's right in this moment, and then all the energy changes, and then 2 to 3 days, it's completely different energy, it's totally acceptable and actually kind of demanded of you to say, it just doesn't work for me now. Yeah.
And that is that favorite word of mine, pivot, the P word.
Yes.
Pivot. Yeah. But I love that, saying no. Yeah. And well, the other one I wrote down was right from the start that Moira mentioned was, I've got this, and that is back yourself.
Yes, I really like what you had there.
Back yourself. That's all. That's your bullet point. Back yourself. I've got this.
I've got this. Acknowledge yourself. Say, yep, I'm here. I'm in the right place at the right time. And then the last one I wrote down was looking at your pace. And doing a course correct, or doing a pivot, or doing a reassessment of your pace, whatever is needed. Yeah.
These are great ones. The only one I've got is the last one, and that is your brain dumping.
Oh, nice one. Yes, very important.
And that's brain dumping everything, and you know that needs done, room for room in your house or room for room in your office. What needs done, anything and everything. Brain dumping,
obligations, everything.
Yeah, everything, your tasks for the day, everything. And I love Moira's wording. I'm the boss of me.
Yeah, I'm the boss. Put your hands on your hips.
Yeah. You can't say that. I'm the boss of me. You actually have to say, I'm the boss of me. You actually can't. There is no
attitude behind it.
Feeble talking here.
But that really helps you acknowledge and flow into this whole thing of thriving through peaceful prosperity.
Yeah.
Awesome tips. Awesome.
What a different podcast today. I thought.
Know. It's been fun energy. I like this one. Yeah. So in doing all of that, now we're going to check, and we would love to hear, let us know, listeners, if we did recap all of our tips. And if there's something else that it triggered or brought up for you, we'd love to hear from you. We'd also love to hear what number you were at the beginning, and where are you now, and where are you, Deb? We were both at 2.5.
I'm a 1.5, and the reason I've gone to a 1.5 is I've just come, I would actually probably even say a 2, but I'm going to say a 1.5 because I've come out of here with a long list of things to do.
Okay.
I've come out of here going, oh, you don't do this. Oh, this is interesting. Oh, let's have a reassess your being and doing instead of just doing. Let's have a look that you've got your strategies. Let's have a look at your surroundings. Let's have a look at your refinement. Yeah, so
So
There's my
you've got a big
big
to-do list to tick off those items.
Yeah, don't ask me next week if I've done them. But yeah, definitely. I'm going to say I'm a 1.5 because it's made me go, oh, there's some really good stuff here to pivot.
No, likewise, there's a few things I need to check in, like I was saying to you about the list making, and I kind of went, oh, I don't do that anymore. I'll tell you, I'll suggest it to you, but I'm not doing it myself so much. So I'm putting myself at a 1 for that same reason, just to check in, and overall, it is all about peaceful prosperity. Yeah. So, dear listeners, if you like this conversation, our quirky tips and ideas on thriving through peaceful prosperity, the next step for you to do is to share it with all your buddies. Share this information, bring them all into this episode and this conversation with us. Also,
and then you're going to have a different conversation with them too.
Truly. Yeah. And also, if any of what we shared triggered something or made you wonder and need more information, please reach out to us. You can reach out to us on our Facebook group or message us directly, either one of us. Yeah. Awesome. Great conversation, my dear.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Inspiring. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks,
bye.
Dear listeners. See you next week. Bye.